Reason why it really, really gets my blood boiling is because it's the exact same thing we see in every other sport. The games where she's not playing have lower viewership.
This is just getting ridiculous. Honestly, if you ask me, Sue Bird would be the last person I'd expect to drop these kinds of comments on Caitlin Clark. Really, Sue? The generational talent herself? Someone who's seen it all, knows the game inside and out, and understands the intricate court politics better than most. And now she's acting like this? Come on.
Some people continue to flip that. Those people, I've seen Stephen A. Smith talk about it. I've seen Shannon Sharpe talk about it. And that's what I just don't understand is they work for ESPN. So why are you hating on a product? It's a business you're in. It's not that they can't.
It's like she just threw herself into the same drama pit as everyone else. Sue Bird, a walking WNBA history book, took aim at Caitlin Clark, and let me tell you, it's got people talking.
And yet, we don't hear anyone on the Celtics and the Mavs. That is not how this works. It's because there's some players that are just so transcendent that the viewership's going to be insane no matter what.
Great.
And it has nothing to do with the other players,
I mean, we're talking about Sue Bird here. She's basically basketball royalty. But out of nowhere, she decides to go off on Caitlin Clark, the kid who's practically been carrying the league's ticket sales and viewership on her back. Why? Apparently, it's because ticket prices and TV ratings have tanked since Clark's team, the Indiana Fever, got booted from the playoffs. Now, that's not exactly breaking news. Clark is a fan magnet, plain and simple.
And to imply that we should just ignore the impact that Caitlin Clark had and still continues to have on this team, this league, this sport. Nah, it doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way, Sue Bird.
Honestly, just look at the Golden State Valkyries, an expansion team that's already sold out something like 18,000 season tickets. Clark doesn't even play there, and yet her influence is undeniable. Still, some people keep flipping the narrative. I've seen Stephen A. Smith talk about it, I've seen Shannon Sharpe talk about it, and here's what I don't get: they work for ESPN. Why are they hating on a product that's literally part of their business?
Stephen A. and with Shannon, there's an aspect of them like defending their stances on her. Like, we were right about Caitlin and this is our defense. And I still think there's something twisted there because nobody ever said.
It's not that they can't voice their opinions, but Sue didn't just point that out and move on. Oh no, she went all in, even dragging Stephen A. and Shannon Sharpe into the mix. And let's be real, those two are known for being brutally honest about everything. So what exactly is Sue Bird mad about? Stephen A. and Shannon Sharpe calling it like they see it. It's not even like they're wrong.
I don't know how you explain, like, honestly, look at the Golden State Valkyries. It's an expansion team. They've already sold out, I think it's 18,000 season tickets. Caitlin doesn't play there. And yet some people continue to flip that. Those people, I've seen Stephen A. Smith talk about it. I've seen Shannon Sharpe talk about it. And that's what I just don't understand is they work for ESPN. So why are you hating on a product? It's a business you're in. It's not that they can't.
And let's talk about this whole Bird versus Clark situation for a second. Could this be bitterness? Let's be real, Caitlin Clark skyrocketed to being the face of women's basketball in what feels like 0.2 seconds. She's pulling in massive crowds and viewership numbers like no one else ever has. But then here comes Sue throwing shade at anyone who dares to say the obvious: the WNBA is struggling to keep up without Clark on the court.
Sue Bird calls out ESPN host for, quote, hating on WNBA playoff ratings after Caitlin Clark's exit. You say, what? Why? Why, y'all? Really? This is where we have to go?
The WNBA wants to act like its success is the result of collective growth, but let's be real, it's Caitlin Clark dragging the league forward, kicking and screaming. Without her, those TV ratings plummet, those ticket sales nosedive, and those merchandise profits evaporate. The league should be bending over backward to keep her happy, not sticking to antiquated pay structures that scream, we don't actually value you. Fans aren't blind to this nonsense. Social media is flooded with calls for change. People are pointing out the absurdity of her paycheck compared to her impact. It's not just about fairness, it's about business. You don't underpay the person responsible for your survival. That's not just bad optics, it's bad math. But apparently, the WNBA is too busy patting itself on the back for incremental growth to notice. The league is playing a dangerous game. If they don't adapt, they risk losing not just Clark, but the entire momentum she's created. Players like her aren't a dime a dozen, they're once-in-a-generation talents who can redefine a sport. If the WNBA doesn't figure out a way to pay her what she's worth, or at least close to it. Don't be surprised if other leagues or opportunities come calling. And when that happens, the WNBA will have no one to blame but itself. Caitlin Clark, the rookie, drops a bombshell after making $10 million off the court. The basketball phenom, who's making less than the cost of a decent SUV in her first year on the court, has turned her modest paycheck into a PR goldmine. While others are sweating over their 9-to-5 grind, Caitlin is cashing six-figure checks just to show up and talk. And get this, some brands are willing to fork over more than the price of a house and fly her across the country just to have her grace their stage, while the WNBA throws her peanuts. Caitlin Clark has turned her off-the-court presence into a financial empire, stacking up $10 million in the process. Yes, that's right, the rookie everyone felt sorry for has more zeros in her bank account than some seasoned NBA veterans. For Clark, the transition from college to the WNBA wasn't just about showcasing her skills, it was about proving that she belonged at the highest level of the game. Critics like Swoops doubted Caitlin Clark's ability to handle the physicality and pace of the professional game, but Clark didn't just meet expectations, she shattered them. Her adaptability against defenses, ability to play through contact, and knack for making clutch plays in critical moments showcased a level of maturity rarely seen in first-year players. Swoop's initial critique of Clark wasn't limited to her playing style, she also questioned Clark's ability to lead a team, suggesting that her individual success might come at the expense of team cohesion. Once again, Clark defied expectations. Her unselfish play and ability to rally her teammates became one of the Fever's greatest strengths, solidifying her role as both a star player and a team leader. Whether it was her chemistry with veterans like Kelsey Mitchell or her mentorship of younger players, Caitlin Clark proved she was more than just a scorer, she was a leader. As the season progressed and Clark's impact became undeniable, Swoops shifted her narrative, focusing on other aspects of Clark's game while avoiding direct acknowledgement of her earlier predictions. This wasn't the first time Swoops' comments had missed the mark, but the stark contrast between her words and Clark's reality only added to the drama surrounding the ongoing feud. Clark's rookie campaign wasn't just a personal triumph, it was a pivotal moment for the Indiana Fever. After years of struggling to find an identity, the team finally had a star who could carry them into a new era. Her hunger to improve, combined with her relentless work ethic, made her a natural fit for White's vision. Caitlin isn't just a great player, she's a cornerstone for the future, White emphasized, cementing her importance to the team's future success. Stephanie White's tenure as the Indiana Fever head coach came with lofty expectations. After years of underperformance, the franchise needed more than just a tactical overhaul, they needed a cultural reset. From day one, White made it clear that her focus extended beyond X's and O's. She wanted to create a winning mentality, build trust within the locker room, and establish a team-first ethos. This philosophy became even more critical in the wake of Sheryl Swoopes' pointed criticisms of the Fever's organization. Swoopes painted a picture of discord, suggesting that players were unhappy and eager to leave. Her claims included sharp critiques of the Fever's management and coaching approach, alleging that the team failed to recognize talent and foster loyalty. Caitlin's hunger to improve is unmatched, White shared. She's not just looking to score points, she's looking to make everyone around her better. White also made it a priority to integrate Clark into the team's existing structure without alienating veteran players like Kelsey Mitchell. Swoops had criticized the Fever for their handling of Mitchell, an unrestricted free agent who had just come off a stellar season. White, however, was quick to highlight Mitchell's significance to the team's success, emphasizing her role in the team's continued growth and stability. Ensuring that Mitchell's contributions were both recognized and celebrated, White's balanced approach helped to dispel any notion of favoritism and reinforce the team's unity beyond individual relationships. She also addressed broader organizational changes that were essential for the Fever's resurgence. White implemented more rigorous training sessions, introduced analytics-driven game plans, and prioritized mental conditioning to prepare players for high-pressure situations. These measures paid off as the Fever not only improved their win-loss record, but also displayed a newfound resilience in close games. Swoop's narrative of a fractured locker room couldn't have been further from the truth. Players often spoke about the familial atmosphere within the team, describing group outings, post-practice bonding sessions, and a shared determination to succeed. White's emphasis on accountability was key to this dynamic. She encouraged players to take ownership of their mistakes while also celebrating their achievements, fostering a culture of continuous improvement. As White worked to rebuild the Fever's image, she didn't shy away from addressing Swoop's remarks head-on. In a candid interview, she called out the inaccuracies in Swoop's statements, urging critics to look at the evidence rather than relying on hearsay. Our players are proud to be part of this team, White asserted. The work ethic, the chemistry, the hunger to win, it's all here. Anyone claiming otherwise hasn't been paying attention. Perhaps the most telling moment came when White discussed the team's future. Her vision extended far beyond a single championship. She spoke passionately about building a dynasty with Clark, Mitchell, and the rest of the Fever's core. Leading the charge, White explained, "This isn't just about winning now, it's about creating a legacy that lasts." In the face of criticism and doubt, White's unwavering belief in her team was a driving force behind their resurgence. Her ability to navigate the challenges of rebuilding a franchise while countering external negativity demonstrated her strength as a leader. By setting the record straight and focusing on what truly mattered, White not only silenced her detractors but also laid the foundation for a brighter future for the Indiana Fever. When Caitlin Clark entered the WNBA as a highly anticipated rookie, the expectations were sky high. The Indiana Fever, in desperate need of a game-changer, had selected Clark in the draft, and everyone from fans to analysts had their eyes on her performance. But one particular voice echoed across the basketball community with criticism: Sheryl Swoopes. Swoopes, a legendary player and analyst, had been outspoken in her belief that Clark's game wouldn't translate to the professional level. She doubted that Clark's style would succeed in the WNBA and suggested that the transition would be more difficult than many anticipated. But Caitlin Clark wasn't just any rookie, she was a force of nature, an unparalleled talent who had already redefined college basketball with her incredible scoring, playmaking, and leadership at Iowa. So her ability to make plays from anywhere on the court was undeniable. When Clark made the leap to the WNBA, she quickly proved that the skeptics, including Swoopes, were wrong. Clark's rookie season with the Fever was nothing short of spectacular. In her first year, Caitlin Clark averaged 19.2 points, 5.7 rebounds, and 8.4 assists per game, solidifying her place as one of the brightest stars in the league. Not only did she dominate offensively, but her versatility made her an invaluable asset on defense as well. Clark's immediate impact on the Fever was undeniable, and she didn't just play the game, she changed it. She took on the role of a leader, not only by putting up impressive stats, but also by elevating the performance of her teammates around her. This was a stark contrast to Swoopes' early predictions. When Clark entered the league, many believed that her style of play, more individualistic and reliant on her scoring ability, wouldn't mesh well with the WNBA's team-oriented structure. Swoopes, with her wealth of experience and success in the league, expressed doubts about whether Clark could adapt her high-volume, high-scoring game to the professional level, but Clark quickly silenced those concerns with her all-around game and leadership on and off the court. Caitlin Clark did more than just adapt to the professional stage, she thrived. Her rookie success was evident in her ability to contribute to every aspect of the game. She became the catalyst for the Fever's offense, setting the tone for the entire team. Her court vision and playmaking were exceptional, and her leadership on the floor helped guide the team to their first playoff appearance since 2016. While her numbers were staggering, it was her ability to make her teammates better that truly set her apart, showing that her impact went beyond individual achievement. Caitlin Clark's leadership qualities were evident from the start, and Stephanie White, the Fever's head coach, quickly recognized that Clark was capable of much more than just scoring points. White's belief in Clark's potential grew as the season progressed. The coach played an active role in shaping Clark's development, focusing on refining her skills and expanding her basketball IQ. White worked with Clark to improve her efficiency on the floor, particularly in decision-making and maximizing her impact on both ends of the court. As the season unfolded, Clark's confidence and maturity grew, solidifying her undeniable impact on the Fever. Caitlin Clark was named Rookie of the Year and made the All-WNBA First Team, achievements that cemented her place as one of the league's top players. Even more impressive, however, was how Clark handled the pressure and criticism from voices like Sheryl Swoopes. Rather than getting distracted by negativity, Clark let her play speak for itself. Stephanie White, who coached Clark closely throughout the season, praised her for her resilience and drive. Caitlin's not just focused on being great herself, she's focused on helping this team succeed. White said in interviews, "Her growth as a leader has been incredible, and I'm excited to see how she continues to evolve as the Fever moved into the postseason." Clark's leadership was on full display throughout the season. She wasn't just a scorer, she was a floor general, a player who could make the right decision at the right moment. Her ability to facilitate the offense and set up teammates for success made her invaluable to the team's playoff run. While Swoopes may have underestimated Clark's ability to thrive in the WNBA, it was clear the rookie was more than ready for the challenge. In the end, Swoopes' criticism of Clark seemed misguided. Not only did Clark's game translate seamlessly to the WNBA, but she also became the centerpiece of the Fever's future success. Her growth from college star to professional leader was a testament to her work ethic, basketball IQ, and unrelenting desire to be the best. The contrast between Swoop's early predictions and Clark's actual performance couldn't have been more pronounced. Where Swoop saw limitations, Clark saw opportunities. Where others questioned her ability to adjust, Clark proved them wrong time and time again. With each passing game, Caitlin Clark continued to silence her doubters, including Sheryl Swoopes. Her journey in the WNBA became a victory, not only for herself, but also for the entire Indiana Fever franchise. It demonstrated that with the right leadership, talent, and work ethic, anything is possible. Stephanie White's sharp rebuttal serves as a powerful reminder that facts matter and leadership is grounded in truth. With Clark proving her doubters wrong and the Fever steadily improving, the future is undoubtedly bright for the team. This clash between WNBA icons highlights the power of resilience and growth. What's your take on this dynamic? Let us know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this breakdown, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more in-depth sports content. Stay tuned for part 2, where we'll unpack more of White's statements and explore how the Fever are making waves in the league this season.
What Caitlin Clark did, because so many eyeballs were on her, she is a huge multiplier effect of that.
The WNBA is buzzing, and all eyes are on the Indiana Fever as they charge ahead, leaving other teams in the dust. With new GM Amber Cox at the helm, the Fever are making bold moves that are as shocking as they are strategic. One of her most controversial decisions was letting Tammy Bentley go in the expansion draft, a choice that didn't sit well with many fans. This move has sparked a mix of excitement and concern among supporters, as they wonder what the future holds for the team under Cox's leadership.
I think the entire world was shocked during the WNBA expansion draft when Tammy Bentley became available, especially because when you look at last season, she played a really huge part in the Fever's success in terms of getting to that point where you all were able to make the playoffs.
But it's all part of a calculated plan to build a super team that could rewrite the league's narrative.
I see a lot of players wanting to go, in this offseason, a lot of players are going to want to go to the Fever.
The Indiana Fever are setting their sights on Satou Sabally, one of the top free agents, who could potentially join forces with Caitlin Clark, Kelsey Mitchell, and Aaliyah Boston. If this grand vision comes together, the Fever could transform from just another WNBA team into bona fide championship contenders, turning heads and silencing critics in the process. The stakes couldn't be higher as they aim to make a significant impact in the league and establish themselves as a dominant force.
I'm just trying to think of who potentially could be in their plans. Like, obviously Satou Sabally is a potential player who you can get via some sort of trade.
The potential addition of Satou Sabally to the Indiana Fever could be a transformative move that elevates the team to serious championship contenders. With her impressive skill set, including an average of 17.9 points, 6.4 rebounds, and 5.0 assists per game, Sabally would seamlessly complement the Fever's existing stars like Caitlin Clark and Kelsey Mitchell. Her versatility as a forward allows her to dominate multiple positions, making her a perfect fit for Indiana's fast-paced style of play.
I think we're obviously at this very pivotal time in the WNBA, and obviously led by the Indiana Fever. But I think all those experiences will lend themselves to hopefully doing the best job possible here.
The synergy between Sabally and Clark, who leads the league in assists, could create an offensive juggernaut that would be difficult for any opponent to contain. Furthermore, Sabally's defensive prowess and ability to stretch the floor with her three-point shooting would address the Fever's positional needs, solidifying their roster as one of the most formidable in the league. If this dream pairing materializes, the Fever could not only enhance their playoff aspirations, but also position themselves as a legitimate threat for the WNBA championship.
We get into free agency, the number one priority for us is re-signing Kelsey Mitchell. I think that backcourt was about as lethal as we've seen in the WNBA, and I'm talking maybe in history in the second half of the season last year.
Caitlin Clark is the kind of phenomenon that makes the basketball world stop and stare, captivating both die-hard fans and casual observers alike. Time magazine even crowned her Athlete of the Year, and the ripple effect of that recognition has been nothing short of seismic.
You know, it's really part of an overall plan, which hopefully everyone will see unfold throughout the offseason.
Now, the Indiana Fever's general manager, Amber Cox, is out here guns blazing with a grand plan to hitch the team's wagon to Clark's rocket, aiming to finally drag the Fever out of irrelevance. It's about time the Fever took bold steps that might actually make people care about the franchise again. With Clark leading the charge, the Fever are poised to make a significant impact in the league and reignite the passion of their fan base.
So we want to reunite Caitlin and Kelsey. And Kelsey, when I think about her and her time in Indiana, and, you know, a lot of trials and tribulations throughout her career. So for me and for us, I'm most excited for her to be in this moment and experience so much success.
Let's be honest, the Fever have been sitting on a pile of $650,000 in cap space like a dragon hoarding treasure, and it's about time they spend it on something or someone that truly matters. The idea of Caitlin Clark joining forces with Kelsey Mitchell, Aaliyah Boston, and Lexi Hull isn't just a pipe dream, it's the makings of a potential WNBA super team, and the league could desperately use a shot of adrenaline. This plan feels like the kind of shakeup that could finally capture the attention of casual sports fans. Amber Cox clearly understands the assignment: make the Fever more than just another WNBA team, make them the team that everyone is talking about.
Respond to those comments, and do you think the award should have been given to the entire WNBA rather than Caitlin Clark individually?
I think Caitlin Clark deserved that.
Amber Cox's off-season strategy for the Indiana Fever is centered around leveraging the team's significant cap space to build a competitive roster that can make a splash in the WNBA. With $650,000 available, Cox is poised to attract top talent, potentially forming a powerhouse lineup that includes stars like Caitlin Clark, Kelsey Mitchell, Aaliyah Boston, and Lexi Hull. Her experience with the Phoenix Mercury, where she played a pivotal role in team operations, has equipped her with the insights needed to navigate player acquisitions and foster a winning culture. Cox's vision is clear: transform the Fever into a formidable contender that not only excites fans but also elevates the overall profile of the franchise in a league that thrives on star power and competitive spirit.